and welcome to the Cybertroninan Exchange. Today we have before us Zeta's Superion, or they call it Supertron. I don't even know how they throw that I in there, makes it weird. Supertron Mini Skystrike, and we got Down Thrust, which is AirRaid and Skydive. We'll be going through these. They will be separate videos, so we're going to start with AirRaid first. Picked these up from the Chosen Prime, and they got here pretty quick. So I have not been through these yet. They came packaged quite nicely. So, throw that to the side. Just a quick look at the box. We have views of robot mode and alt mode on the back. Shows it has two weapons, cockpit opens. Typical warning, you know, choking hazards, all that good stuff. Just a wireframe design on the side. Nice presentation on the front, and then wireframe of the jet on the other side. Top and bottom is just says it's Zeta. So they don't have any tape on the box for sealing, which is fine because it comes wrapped in plastic. Inside the box, it is packed in black foam, which seems to be kind of like a Zeta trademark. They ship all their stuff, even when it was, I don't want to get into it. There's all that other speculation. So anyway, instruction manual. And like, it is solid. Feels awfully light. Even though it's foam, I feel like all I'm carrying is the foam. Wouldn't that be sad if it was empty? So, move the foam block, and there he is. We're just going to slide him out real quick. Really small. Really, really small. That's more traditional Legends size than I had thought it would be. So, anyway, we're going to set him aside real quick. Also, in the packing are his two guns. So we'll set those down. And we're going to get this out of the way. Alrighty. So let's take a look at his guns real quick. So it's just molded black plastic. There's a little bit of flashing left on it from the sprue or the mold or what have you. Just a little bit of cleanup. But as you can see, it's got a lot of sculpted detail on there. That is really nice. You know, it's not perfectly round, which is also kind of nice to see. You know, laser blaster can be square, rectangle. It can be whatever shape it wants to be. But, yeah. That's really nice sculpted detail on that. I like it. Second gun's exactly the same. And let's see. I think it'll pin in. Yep, it tabs in under the wings. Even though it's a square, like a rectangular peg, and the hole here is round, it pegs in just fine. So no issues there. So I'm just going to take those back off as we go over the plane itself. So this is how it comes right out of the box. The wings, the tail feathers, elevators. Those are a little loose. The feet just kind of stick out. I would think that they rotated in, and maybe they're supposed to, and it was just mistransformed when it was put in the box. So, I bet that's exactly what it does. It folds up in there. Look at that. They were just in a hurry to get it in the box and get it out the door. So, but these bump around real easy. Like, they're not exactly loose, but they don't exactly hold straight either. So they're easily bumped and maneuvered about. Let's see. know I pretty much have just transformed that component. So let me see if I can get these feet to tuck in here a little cleaner. Yeah, that did the trick. We just folded the feet up in there, clean that up. Another thing to note, this wing folds up nicely, but it still has kind of a droop to it. This one is steadily, like it's almost like a spring reflex down. It doesn't stay up. And there's probably some flashing or some misalignment or something. Like this one's smooth, this one's not. I wonder if I can just clean a little bit of that flashing off, if that'll make a difference. Hold tight, y'all. It's going to get wiggly for just a second. So I'm just cleaning off a little bit of this flashing from the mold. Just give it a little scrape. That didn't seem to do much for it. So I will have to look into further as to why it doesn't rotate and stay rotated. It could be how it's pinned in, but even how it's pinned in doesn't make a lot of sense. I don't see a way for this to come off. Yeah, see, none of that's working. Oh, I just kind of gave it a squeeze and that held. So I just kind of squeezed it in there, just a little bit more pressure than what I would normally use, and it held. So maybe I did scrape something just right. I want to set that to the side in case I find something else along the way. So detail is pretty nice. It's got a lot of panel lines. It's got the ailerons marked out, the flaps marked out, rudders are marked out, elevons are marked. You know, all the panel lining that you would expect on a plane is there. Even on the underside, it has panels. Even for the forward panels that would normally shift forward to break ice off the wings or to keep from freezing up. So underside, of course, you can tell it's a robot. It's just a box with a plane on it. That's one of the things that bugs me is I think that with today's technology, we can be a little bit more diligent in making a plane turn into a robot without it looking like a plane strapped to the back of a robot in plane mode. It doesn't look like he's got any retractable landing gear. He's got a faux wheel here and faux wheels here that just kind of stand out. Considering the amount of engineering that goes into some of the other Legends, I feel like that's lazy. They could have made that fold or flip over or tab in. Just having a wheel that stands out on his chest the whole time is going to look dinky, which it looks like that's exactly what they're doing according to the box art. So another thing to note, these do not sit flush right here to the jet, and this may be just a mistransformation just like the feet were. So I'm just going to give it a slight wiggle down and see if I can make that flush. It looks like I'm able to. At least one side went. Let's see. It is not being compliant. So we'll see. Maybe it'll loosen up as we go on, but it does not sit flush right there. Cockpit opens up. There's not much to the cockpit. I don't know what this little white flaky stuff is. I hope it's not paint coming off, but clearly it's 2 seats and the instrument gauge panel is right there. So not a lot of detail, but enough to make it look really nice. So pretty slick looking little F-15. Just a couple of areas I think they could have done a little better on, but other than that, looks pretty nice. It's got the thrusters out back. Thrusters are not articulated in any way. So, yeah. Doesn't roll because of the faux wheels. It just sits there. And do that a little bit more on screen here. And let's see. We're going to do a quick size comparison. I got a Stunticon over here. So, quick size comparison with, it's Dead End or Wild Rider. I can't remember which. But yeah, there he is with Magic Square's Stunticon car, which is pretty common and pretty standard, normal size for Legends class car. But yeah. Alright, so we're going to move on to transformation. And I have the instructions here, but I'm not exactly going to break into them just yet. I want to see if I can just fiddle and piddle with it to get it to go. So first thing, of course, I'm going back to where the feet were. I'm just going to lift this tab up. Looks like these fold up to the side. The elevons fold up. And then I'm just looking at where things wiggle and move. This untabs. And then all the legs slide down. With the legs slid down and these tabs up, I'm going to go ahead and fold the feet back out and around, out and around. And then I'm going to fold the back of the jet down to the legs. And it looks like that's going to form kind of like the heel spur so that it has more purchase where it's standing. And I'm going to separate the legs. I think the wings fold around and back. Let's see, I think that's how they go. Maybe not around quite like that. Yeah, there we go. I think. Yes, no. There, on the side. So let's try that again. We're going to take the wing to 90 degrees on the ball peg. Fold the outer wing panel in. Then we're going to fold the wing flat. And then we're going to rotate it to be flat up against the leg. Now we have a standing robot. So that was pretty easy. Let's see about back here. This whole panel untabs, folds back. This folds back. This that looks like a landing gear door actually opens up and allows this to scissor out on two hinges. And we're just going to get that back out of the way. This probably allows the arms to come out. So we're going to lift those up 90 degrees. I wonder why that came out. Oh, I get it. That's a side filler. So that's just a little side filler to keep it clean. That's clever. That's real clever. Because then I think all this can tab back. And now, well, when you bring the arm down, it just kind of stays. But then that's actually your shoulder joint right there. And you extend your arm out, arm down. And then you got a fist that pops out. All right, we're just going to do the same for the other side. Extend the arm. Rotate the fist out. Bring the arm down. And then it looks like the chest untabs. Flip the head out on top. Fold it back. And all that's left now is to sort the backpack. So you got these two tabs here. Pretty sure you can close that back. These two tabs tab into these two holes here. I thought I was wrong. It looked like they did. Maybe this stays open. And then, oh, there we go. So under here, these two tabs, right there and there, will go into this channel here and here. And you got to leave this open so that this part will tuck in. So you kind of come under and tab. And then it looks like this just kind of scissors down. Yep, that's exactly what it does. It just scissors down and this panel stays out. And there we go, right up against the back. It's not too bad. Not too bad at all. That's a pretty clean little figure. That cleaned up nicely. Transformation wasn't too bad. You can see I didn't need the instructions. So the instructions do show that the guns tab into the side panel here, so I don't know why. It doesn't make sense that it would, but it shows that. So, alright, so let's just look at the figure and just give it a once over. Head is on a ball peg, which gets you a great amount of looking up. And it's pinned, it's got like a hinge pin right there on the back that allows it to get up, plus it's on a ball peg, so you can actually squeeze it to look straight up and move it back. So that's pretty nice. And he gets a little bit of down. You can probably cheat it by moving the chest out just a little bit to get a certain pose, but that's about all the down you get out of the figure if you leave everything tabbed in place. So he's got, looks like they gave him light piping. Let me see. Okay, so there is light piping on the back, which you can't really see it. That's super bright light, so it kind of encompasses it. So they gave it light piping on the back, but then they painted the eyes blue. The light piping's gray, but the eyes are blue. So it's like they made a choice, ran with the stuff, and then decided, nope, that's not going to look good. Let's just paint the eyes. And I can respect them for that. You know, if something's not going to look right, don't do it. Figure a different way. And that's what they did. So white plastic, silver paint on the face, and blue painted eyes, even though it was supposed to be light piped. And then on the torso, it's white plastic, but red paint. And I'm pretty sure, like, that's die cast, I think. No, that's plastic. That's plastic. So this is die cast. So anyway, we'll get to that in a minute. So red paint on the chest, and let's see, he's got no paint on the arms. It's just white plastic, off-white plastic. Arms go full 360. He's got 90 degrees at the shoulder. No butterfly joint or anything like that. He has a bicep swivel just below the shoulder and above the elbow. He's got a single hinged elbow that gets you just shy of 90 degrees. And then the fist, he can move the fist inward or outwards. It's just part of the transformation. It doesn't really tab in anywhere. It does not have a wrist. It looks like it should have a wrist swivel, but it does not have a wrist swivel. But put the gun in, and he holds it like he should. It's got a big gnarly gap right there. You know, I didn't buy the New Age Constructicons because of some of the gappiness and such, and this bugs me just the same. I got it mainly because it's the only aerial bot or only Autobot combiner that we have in Legend scale, and I hear a lot of good things about Zeta. This is my first Zeta product, and it's their first Legends product. So, you know, I figure why not. But that bugs me. I'm not entirely happy about that. But moving on. Let's see. Does he have waist swivel? He has a waist swivel. So you're hindered by the backpack piece right here, this little slide bar. Your hips will hit it, but you have a waist swivel. You have your hip skirts that get out of the way, which all this area is red painted plastic. Get your leg out almost 90 degrees, and the backpack hinders you getting your leg backwards. It would go further if the backpack was not in the way, so you can actually move that and get it back further. So it comes down to your pose and how you can make it look right, but looks doofy there, but it's an option. So, untabbed it by accident. Okie dokie. There we go. All right. So, we've got ball jointed at the hips, so it gets full splits. If you push it, you get a little bit more than 90 degrees. And then you have just a T-peg right there, just a mushroom peg or whatever you want to call it, for your thigh swivel. And then you get a single hinge knee that gets you, I would say, shy of 90 degrees, not quite 90 degrees. And then your feet are on a ball joint, so you get ankle rocker, toe tilt up, toe tilt down. And you can move them forward or backwards. Let's see. There's toe tilt down, toe tilt up, ankle rocker. Either way you want to go. It actually will go to the right or to the outside rocker as well. So yeah, on the knees you got red paint in here. This is die cast. This is, everything else is plastic. This is the only die cast is right here on the shin. From here to here, everything else is plastic. So hopefully that grounds it well and doesn't add too much weight to the combined mode. But there we have it. So very dynamic figure. I feel like it poses really well. I like it. It doesn't. There's certain, like, I don't have to have a wrist swivel, but I will say that all these Legends that come out, I feel like they should all have interchangeable hands for expressive hands. That's one of the things that New Age does, and I really like. Magic Square does it occasionally. I wish they would do it for all their figures, but they don't. But man, it would be nice if they did. Let's see. Now it looks like he does stand on his feet without the back of the jet sitting on the ground. Like, he doesn't have to use the heel spur, but you can rotate the feet forward to where you're using the back of the jet, but he does kind of lean back. So he does balance on his feet on those ball pegs fairly well. So just a matter of getting him there. But yeah, he's on the feet, even though all the balance, like the main flat part of the feet are at the front, he's still balanced on that. He's kind of tilted over a little, but you can, but he's not as back heavy as it seems. He does tend to fall to the back, but he's not what I would necessarily call back heavy. And I feel that has more to do with the die cast being on the front of the shins, keeping the balance forward, more than anything. So all his joints are nice and stiff. I don't feel like anything's loose. I mean, ball pegs are traditionally loose feeling anyway. But Let's see if I can get him. I can get Minosaur to do this pose. Let's see if I can get him to do this pose. It's probably just too much weight on one side. Come on. I know you want to. There's definitely a tipping point in the balance. But, I mean, he holds it. Shake test. Nothing's moving. So, pretty impressed. So, I say nothing's moving. The cockpit came over. The cockpit does not tab closed. It just kind of sits there. So, as you move it about, it may come open. That's neither here nor there. It's just a notice, happen to notice. So one of the things I do want to go back to real quick is these side filler panels for the under the arms. They could have left that open in the gap. They went to an extent to say, we're going to put a panel here and we're going to fill that so you don't see the eyesore that's there, and there's sculpted detail in there. That took a lot of thought and just consideration to how we view our figures. And, you know, aside from some shortcomings that I'm not entirely happy with, as far as non-expressive hands and no wrist swivel, you know, there's no ab crunch, which is fine. Maybe there is an ab crunch. I didn't see it. Nothing on the boxes indicate that there's an ab crunch. But, I mean, aside from that, that's a really nice detail. And I can appreciate that effort. So I want to transform this guy. I can never remember if it's Wild Rider or Breakdown, so feel free to correct me in the comments. It has always been a struggle. Not Breakdown, Wild Rider or Dead End. Breakdown's the Lambo. So, get the foot out. And I'll be going through and doing a review on this guy as well at some point. So, just not today. It's just down and dirty for size comparison. Y'all, it's been forever since I've transformed this guy, so I have to remember how it all blows apart. All right. There he is, next to Magic Square Stunticon. They are slightly taller than Magic Square Stunticons. They're like really close. Oh, I mean slightly taller, I mean just slightly. I mean, I can straighten that out and straighten him out. So, even though he's standing up straight, AirRaid is still taller. So, Let's see. Grab Magic Squares Constructicon Scrapper, and Scrapper's just taller than all of them, which I'm fine with. I mean, it's a construction vehicle. He's supposed to be big. He's supposed to be bulky. And I imagine Devastator's going to be bigger than all these combiners just because it's all six. It's 6 vehicles. I would expect Devastator to be the largest. So, which I guess kind of goes against the fact that, well, these are jets. Jets are supposed to be bigger than all of it. You know, jets are supposed to be equivalent to or bigger than the size of a construction vehicle, depending on the construction vehicle, and you get into the whole mass shifting thing. But as far as, you know, relevance to me, I don't really care about a Sunbow chart or any of that other stuff. I care about these 2 characters were created at the same time in the same episode. Megatron made Stunticons, Optimus Prime made Aerial Bots, and that's where we got those 2. So as long as they're close to in scale, I'm fine. Devastator really isn't relevant to the situation, but just want to kind of give you a size comparison in case it's important to you. So we'll move these guys out of the way. I think that's all I really have to say about this figure. Overall, I would rate this probably an 8.5, and that just has more to do with the type of accessories that come with it. The transformation's simple. It's very intuitive. Didn't break my brain trying to get through it like you'll see in the friggin' Magic Square Constructicon videos. That stuff's intense. I do wish it had an ab crunch, but it is not the end of the world. It has a waist swivel, which is more than what I can say for MP Starscream. So anyway, hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time. Bye.